for another story? Because I think it is story time. So find a comfy place to sit and listen, and we'll get ready for story time. It's a happy, happy day, and I thank God for the weather. It's a happy, happy day, and I'm living it for my Lord. It's a happy, happy day, and things are gonna get better. Living each day with the promises of God's Word. And we're ready to get back to Charles Swindoll and one of his stories with Pawpaw Chuck. So today's story is called, let's see, Lost and Found. A story about salvation. And that's a big word, isn't it? We'll have to find out what that means. From the Bible it says, if you use your mouth to say, Jesus is Lord, and if you believe in your heart that God raised Jesus from death, then you will be saved. The scripture says anyone who asks the Lord for help will be saved. And that comes from Romans 10:9 and 13. So let's hear about Pawpaw Chuck. Remember, if you don't know how to snow plow, to stop, just drop your poles and plop, Pawpaw Chuck said with a big grin. Pawpaw Chuck was giving a quick ski lesson to some of his grandcubs before they braved the snow-covered peaks on Mammoth Mountain. Yeah, let's go. Let's ski this slope, Heather said playfully. Hey, Parker, want a race? Chelsea asked her cousin. Last cub to the bottom of the hill is a grizzly. Parker pushed his poles into the powdery snow and slid past Chelsea. Little Landon hurried to catch up. The day was a flurry of fun on the slippery slopes for Pawpaw Chuck and his grandcubs, but all too soon it was time to leave the winter wonderland and return to the cabin. Time to go, grandcubs, called Nana Cindy. It's almost dark. The grandcubs followed Pawpaw Chuck and Nana Cindy to the snowy path. The cubs looked like polar bears in their thick Arctic jackets and big boots. They crunched through the snow carrying their equipment. Parker's steps slowed to a shuffle as he tried to get one last glimpse of the mountain playground. Come on, Parker, Pawpaw Chuck called from the front of the Fury pack. You're falling behind. You better speed up, Parker, Ryan yelled. While the bears stomped through the icy forest, Parker stomped to play. He threw himself into the snowdrifts. He made chubby snow angels. He plucked pine cones with his paws and pitched them to imaginary baseball players. Parker paused to watch the snowflakes fall to the ground. Wow, there must be millions of them, he thought. The wind started to blow. The chill was almost more than Parker could bear. He spotted a nice clump of fir trees. I can stay warm there, Parker thought. He curled up under the trees to rest as the snow continued to fall. I wonder if I'll be able to find my way back to the path, Parker worried. I sure hope my family isn't too far from here. Parker's eyelids grew heavy as he thought about the lost lamb story that Pawpaw Chuck had told him. Meanwhile, Pawpaw Chuck discovered that Parker was missing from the group. Pawpaw Chuck saw that Nana Cindy and the other grandcubs were safely on their way to the cabin. Then Pawpaw Chuck returned to the snowy path to search for his lost grandcub. Parker! Parker! Pawpaw Chuck called across the snowy paths and trails. He looked everywhere, but Parker was not in sight. Pawpaw Chuck prayed, Dear Lord, please keep Parker warm and safe in this cold winter come evening. Let me find him quickly before it gets too dark. I love him so much. Please comfort Parker wherever he is." In the clump of fir trees, Parker had fallen asleep. While he slept, he had a dream about a good shepherd. A good shepherd watched over many sheep. The shepherd loved his sheep. Each one was very special to him. He kindly cared for their needs and listened to their bleats. The good shepherd protected his flock. He cautiously kept them from dangerous slopes, rough spots, and wild animals. The shepherd was very wise, very kind, and very careful. Every morning as the sun came up, the shepherd called his sheep together and counted them. He wanted to make sure that no one was missing from the flock. The good shepherd called each lamb by name. "Snowball, Fluffy, Pinky, Chester, where are you?" "Bah, bah," the lambs bleated in quick reply. While the shepherd was taking roll, he realized a lamb was missing from the fold. 97, 98, 99. Where was the last little lamb? Where was number 100? Maybe the sheep was sleeping. The shepherd called the sheep name. "Lambert! Lambert!" But the missing lamb did not answer. The lamb must have wandered away from the flock. Why would the lamb leave his family and friends to travel the dangerous trails alone? Why would the little one stray from the good shepherd's loving care and protection? The shepherd knew Lambert was in trouble. The shepherd knew the lamb was no match for the wolves that prowled the hills, or the bitter, cold nights. The good shepherd left his 99 other sheep and hurried out to search for Lambert. "Where is my little lamb? Is he hurt? Is he hiding from me?" the shepherd thought as he looked over the hills for the lost one. "My lamb will be frightened and worried. He will feel lonely without me by his side." "Lambert! Lambert!" the shepherd called. "Where are you?" The shepherd searched high and low. He hunted many hours for the lost lamb. He combed through the brush. He climbed over hills and crawled through dark caves, calling for Lambert every inch of the way. Finally, he spied small sheep hoof prints. The shepherd followed the tracks. "Oh no," thought the shepherd. The tracks led away from the safe pastures. At last, when it was almost too dark to see, the shepherd spotted Lambert caught in a thorny bramble bush. Very carefully, the shepherd got him out of the bush. "Bah! Bah!" Lambert cried. The lost sheep was tired, hungry, and cold. The shepherd lovingly carried the lamb in his arms. The good shepherd spoke kind words of comfort to his frightened little lamb. He picked him up and held him tightly to calm him. The shepherd then carried the lamb back to the flock. "Look, everyone," he announced. "Lambert was lost, but now he is found." The 99 sheep were happy. They praised the good shepherd for saving Lambert. "Where am I?" Parker thought as he awakened from his short nap. The cub was scared. "I'm alone in the forest," Parker cried. "Where is my family? Why didn't I stay with them?" The moonlight barely lit the darkness. Parker buried his snout in his paws and sobbed. Suddenly, he heard a familiar voice. "Parker! Parker!" Papa Chuck called. "Papa Chuck! Papa Chuck, I'm over here!" Parker yelled. Parker wiped the cold tears off of his furry face and waved at Papa Chuck. Praise the Lord! I'm so glad I found you, Papa Chuck called as he and Parker ran toward each other. I've been looking everywhere. Papa Chuck wrapped his big arms around Parker. I love you, Parker. I asked God to keep you safe. Come on, let's go back to the cabin. Good idea, Papa Chuck, Parker squealed. I have been out here in the cold for too long. When Papa Chuck and Parker opened the door of the cabin, all the other cubs came running. Oh, Parker, we're so glad you're here. We were worried about you, they said. Ryan, Chelsea, Heather, and Landon surrounded Parker and took turns giving him bear hugs. Nana Cindy brought out some hot chocolate for everyone. While the bears sat in front of a warm fire sipping their hot chocolate, Nana Cindy said, You know, I've been thinking about something. What's that, Nana? Everyone wanted to know. Well, just like Parker was lost out on that hillside today, there was once a time in our lives when we were all lost in sin. But Jesus, the great shepherd, came to find us. He is always looking for those who are lost. When we heard the voice of Jesus call to us, we answered, Jesus, please save us. And Jesus did just that. I'm so glad Jesus loves us enough to come looking for us when we are lost, Heather said as she snuggled up close to Nana Cindy. And I am so glad to be found, Parker shouted. Me too, me too, me too, the other bear squealed. Amen, said Papa Chuck. We're all glad Jesus found us. All the grandcubs listened quietly as Papa Chuck explained how Jesus is always looking for those who are lost. They smiled as Papa Chuck reminded them, anyone who asks the Lord for help will be saved. What a fantastic story about the lost sheep. Please join us for some more fun activities about this lost sheep and how we can be saved. Hello, I'm glad you came back for craft time because today we're going to make some sheep. And you can make as many as you want, but definitely make at least one, I would think. Okay? So you remember we just had the story of the lost sheep and how Jesus, the good shepherd, goes out to find even the one sheep out of his whole herd that is lost. And that is what God does for us, that he always finds us, that one individual person, and seeks us out. So today we're going to make a sheep. So what we're going to need are some cotton balls. You're going to need some brown felt, some pipe cleaner, some glue, okay? And I use a plate just to help keep it tidy right here. And I always have some napkins here to the side just in case I kind of make a mess and I need to grab them. So remember, Mom and Dad might need to help you. Or if you are grown up and can do this all on your own, fantastic. So this is the sheep we're going to make. Notice how fluffy he is. You can already see where some of the parts are with that. And what I'm going to start off with is 6 cotton balls. So let me count my cotton balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And I need to get some glue. And I'm going to glue these together for like a bottom layer. Okay. And I got to make sure I've got a good amount of glue so you can kind of see how much glue I'm putting on. I'm just going to stick them together like that, okay? And as I go, I'm going to put just a little more glue on each spot and put another one on. As I go, I'm just going to keep gluing my cotton balls together. And cotton balls do a really good job with this kind of glue. They stick really, really well. Now the only trick to all of this is we do have to let our cotton balls dry overnight. Okay, it has to dry completely for us to be able to add everything else back onto our sheep. So I'm going to take a few more cotton balls, 4 or 5, and I'm going to make another layer because we don't want him to be short and tiny. We want him to be a plump sheep. So I'm going to put a circle over top of all of that and put these right on top. Sometimes it just depends upon how big your cotton ball is, and sometimes you can pull it out a little like that to make him nice and fluffy sheep. Okay, I'm going to stick one more in the middle. I want him to be, come on, glue. There it goes. Put one more piece right in here. Okay, does that look like the beginning of a fluffy sheep? Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to let this set overnight. Okay, and here's one that I have that's ready. Already been glued. The glue's hard in there and it's not going to come apart. Okay, and I'm ready to add his face and his legs. Okay, so first I'm going to take some of my brown felt and I'm just going to cut an oval for his face. Now again, my glue has to dry really well when I glue this on. Okay, see how I just made kind of like an egg shape, didn't I? And then I also want to make some ears, which are just little pieces like teardrops or a drop of water. And their ears are shaped all kinds of shapes, so you can't go wrong. See, they're different shapes. No big deal. Now, I will tell you, when I made this sheep, this little guy here, his ears wanted to fall off because you do have to let it dry overnight. Let it sit. If I start playing with it, it doesn't want to stay. Okay, do you see how his ears are on there? Okay, now what I'm going to do is set his head down right there. Let that glue start to dry, and I'm going to grab my eyes that are in your packet, your stick-on eyes, and I'm going to stick them on right down low here. See how he's got his wiggle eyes on? And remember, those are stick-on ones, so those just stick right on there. Okay, so there's his head ready to go. And let's see, how do we want this sheep? I like that for the top. So let's see if we can get his head attached right there. Now again, it sticks really well with glue, but it's got to dry. So I'm going to put some glue all right here. Put his head on. Okay, and it looks like I have some that's drippy. Sometimes that happens to us. Now, do you notice how he's got a little bit of fur right there on the top of his head? That's really fun. Just take one, a small one, pull it apart, and glue it on the top there because he has some fur right there on the top of his head. Come on, glue. There we go. See how he likes that? I'm going to kind of keep my glue like this so it stays down because I have one more step. And you know what that step is? His legs. Now do you see how his legs are stuck up inside there? And you can see I put quite a bit of glue in there to make sure they would stay. So what we're going to do is fold it in half and cut. And then fold it in half again. Okay, and fold this one in half. Now we want to make him have feet. So down here at the bottom, we're going to bend up because this has wire in it. And see how you can see his feet? Okay. And bend these up. Now we're going to see if we're going to be able to stick up inside there. Just in between some of those cotton balls. Stick them down in there. Now remember, this is one that's dried overnight. So, might be kind of tight. Or you might go right in between some cotton balls. And then what I've done is you can bend his legs however you want. And then put some glue right in the center. All right, glue, are you going to work this time? Oh, yeah. Just had to run to the bottom, didn't it? Now notice, if you can see, I'm putting quite a bit of glue there on his legs. Now, if I take my sheep right now and try and play with him, is that going to work? No, all that's going to run everywhere. So we have to let him sit, okay? Sit for a little while and dry, okay? Just like that. Once you have let him dry, you're going to get a sheep just like this. And in our next section, you're going to see if we have a game that we're going to play with it. Enjoy your sheep. Hello, boys and girls. This week, talking about the lost sheep, we're going to play a game with our craft that we made. Now, I have two of them because I made one ahead of time, then I made the one I made with you. And you can, if you end up with two of them, that's a fun game as well. But let me show you the first game that can be just a real quick fun game with just you and a friend. That is just a hot, cold, find the sheep game. So for me, I'm going to hide this sheep somewhere, and then I'm going to holler for my friend Kenton to see if he can come and find it. As he comes to look for it, I'm going to tell him if he's getting close to it, that he's getting hotter. If he's going farther away from it, I'm going to say colder. And as he gets closer and closer, I'm going to go hotter, 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 really fast. So he'll know that he's very, very close to finding the lost sheep. Now, if you do have more than two of you, or even if you do have two or you have a bunch of you, you can play with two of them and split into teams. You each can hide your sheep at different parts of your yard, and then everybody meet in the middle and say go and see which team can find the lost sheep first. Just another fun game that you can play with your lost sheep. So let's see if Kenton's around. I'm going to go hide this sheep real fast. Oh, Kenton!
Ready or not, here I come!
Have fun playing your game with your lost sheep.
Hey boys and girls, I'm excited that you're back to look at some science experiments again with me today. I was actually just looking at my microscope here. I have a portable one, which is pretty nice. Because you know, microscopes are interesting. They make things that seem lost appear to be found. That I can almost look at any surface and I can find things that I would have never known before. Like I can take my microscope here and look onto my arm, onto my lab coat, and I can see all the little fibers that I wouldn't have been able to see before, which I think is pretty cool. And I did hear your story is about something being lost and then being found. Now you probably don't have a portable microscope at home, something that's easy for you to use, but did you know that you actually have your own microscope on your person at all times? Let me show you. So it's pretty cool. I found this from a very good scientist friend of mine. He told me that if you take your fingers, you pinch them like this, you put them together and you make a small triangle, small diamond, then you hold it up to your eye, it'll make things twice as large. Because what's happening is, you put it right where your pupil is. It's that black part of your eye. And it makes that pupil focus on that whatever that object is, and it makes it bigger, which I think is pretty cool. And we'll see if we can use that later. This small diamond that every single one of you has, just put it right up to your eye, and you should be able to see things twice as large. So let's move on now to our experiment for today. But remember, the most important part about doing any experiment is safety first. So, first I'm going to put my hair up. Oh, actually, never mind. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Let me see. Where did my goggles go? There they are. You need to have protective eyewear. Glasses work. Construction goggles work. I have these scientific goggles I will use. Also, make sure your lab area is clean. I have a nice workspace area here that then I can use so nothing else is getting in the way. So we're going to do an experiment today where we're going to try and create crystals out of nothing. Just like the sheep was lost, we didn't see it, now we're going to be able to find it. We're going to do that with these crystals. So the first thing you're going to need your, what is this, a pipe cleaner? You're going to need your small pipe cleaner. It should be about half the size. So you might have gotten a large one. If you have a large one, you're probably going to want to cut it in half. So if you have a pair of scissors, you can get it close to half. And you can cut that. Again, you may need a parent's help with this. Make sure you don't throw things, like I almost did. Okay? Now what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and make a shepherd's hook. So a shepherd's hook going to kind of look like a candy cane. We're just going to turn it just like this. Okay? Pretty simple. If you want to think about it. Looks like a J. We'll just turn it upside down for our shepherd's hook. Now, next thing you're going to need a paper clip. Now this can be a tricky part for some people. So make sure that when you have your paper clip, you follow this right here. All you have to do is turn it just like that. Very simple. It was hooked right in here. All I did was pull it out just like this. Okay, now I'm going to hook my shepherd's hook right here. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten it because I don't want it to fall off. So I'm going to try and loop it around here just like that. And again, you might need some help. Okay, the next thing you're going to do, you should have a pencil. Let's take the pencil and let's put our shepherd's hook onto this pencil. This is where it's going to hang because we need to put this into some liquid. Now, my goggles are fogging up on me a little bit, but I can still see here. Let's see if I can fix it. There we go. So we need some water. Now, we can't just use any old water. We need to use hot water. So the water I have here, let's see what the temperature is. See if it's hot enough. Okay. My temperature is about 155. Okay, that should work. You want to have hot water. Usually the best temperature is going to be between 150 and 180 degrees. Now I really don't want to touch this still because it is hot and it could burn me. So I'm going to use my tongs here to pour this liquid into the styrofoam cup. And you should have a styrofoam cup. Okay. Notice you want to have it pretty full. And if we need to fill it up more later, we can. But I want to make sure that I have room to stir this. I filled it about 2/3 of the way full. Next, we're going to need something called borax. So borax is actually a type of laundry detergent. But we can turn this powder into crystals. We have our hot water. We have our powder. We're going to take 3 tablespoons, pour it in there, and you will have a baggie. Your baggie will look like this. It should already have 3 tablespoons in it. Okay, so I have my 3 tablespoons. And the key here is we need to make sure this thing dissolves. If it doesn't dissolve, it may not work. So we need to take a small stir rod. This could be a spoon or something else, and stir our water. Stir our water with our borax. Try to get it so there's no borax left in there. Okay? Stir it nice and good. You want to make sure all that powder is dissolved. That's how we're going to make that crystal. So, now I'm going to take my pencil, my shepherd's hook, and my paper clip, put it right down here in the water. Oh, it's okay now. Come look at what I have right here. My water is not deep enough. It's too low. So I need to take some more water, and I'm going to fill it so that I can be all the way on top of that shepherd's hook. I want the shepherd's hook to be completely underwater. So see, it's a lot more full now. Now, if you want, just to make sure you're still good, you can come back in here and you can stir it just to make sure everything's still dissolved now that we added more water. But it should still work if you dissolved everything the first time. Okay? Now, that's part of the experiment is done. Let this sit for at least a day. Most of them should be done after a day. Now, after you've done that, we have a finished product right here that will show you. Remember, this is what it looks like right now. After a day, your shepherd's hook will be coated in beautiful crystals. These are these borax crystals. Okay, so before, we couldn't see these. They weren't in there. If we look at our water, it just looks like plain water. Come take a closer look at this water. It just looks like water. Maybe a little bit cloudy. But now, we have a crystal shepherd's hook. Now, there's might be some crystals on here you don't want to have on there. You just take those off. That's fine. Now, one last thing that I want to do with you is remember how you have that microscope on you at all times. If you want to see your crystals better, find your microscope, put your fingers together, and let's see if we can see these crystals even a little bit better. And you can see some of that shine that happens from those borax. I hope you have fun with your experiment this week. Can't wait to see you later. Bye. What's poppin', boys and girls? You know what? I think I know. I thought I smelled something, so that's why I kind of came down here for snack today. Now, for snack, we have a lovely lady who's going to walk you through what we're going to do for our creation this week. So let me introduce you to Miss Logan. She's going to be helping you this week.
Hey guys, so this week after we just did the sheep story, we are going to be making popcorn balls. And you may need a little help from mom and dad, but that's okay. We're going to have tons of fun anyway. The first thing we have to do though is we have to wash our hands. And if you have any jewelry that may get in the way, you can just go ahead and take that off, okay? All right, let's wash our hands. All right, so we're gonna wash our hands to begin with. And remember, we always need warm water to kill all the germs. So you're gonna turn it on. Gonna get a little soap, get the hands wet, and then you can sing Jesus Loves Me twice. So, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me, yes, Jesus loves me, yes, Jesus loves me, the Bible tells me so. And then that should be about 20 seconds or so. So we did wash our hands, now we're going to scrub, make sure the water's nice and warm. Okay. Now we're going to dry off our hands and get ready to make our popcorn balls. All right, now that our hands are all clean, I'm kind of going to go over some of the things that we need for this wonderful food experiment. So the first thing is just a nice big bowl to make our popcorn balls in. And you may need another larger bowl just to put the remainder of the popcorn in. We're going to need a nice spoon, some of the olive oil spray that we're going to use on our hand so it doesn't stick to it. And then we're also going to need some popcorn, which reminds me, I have some already popped, so let me go ahead and grab that. The next thing we're going to need is we're going to need a nice heaping cup of marshmallows, the mini kind. You may need a knife just to kind of cut things up with, maybe about half a tablespoon of butter, some pretzel rods, some brown M&Ms.
That means I could eat the rest.
And then the last thing is we need little tiny candy eyeballs.
Okay, I see that.
So the first thing that we're going to need to do is empty out our popcorn in a large bowl. So you may need about half of this bag. So if you just want to go ahead, dump that all out in there. We'll go ahead and make sure that we're not getting any large kernels in there too. Okay. The next thing, once you've got all the popcorn out there, you can even take one for a snack.
Okay.
So the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to get maybe about half a tablespoon of butter. You better believe it. And we're going to go ahead and put that in the bowl. The next thing we're going to need to do is just go ahead and put the marshmallows in. And then we're going to go ahead and put all of that in the microwave for about 45 seconds, just to make sure that it's all melted. And then we're going to stir it a little bit, and if it needs to be melted a little more, we may put it in there for about another 15 seconds. So it's almost there. And we're just gonna stir it a little bit just to be sure that all the stuff is mixed in together, but it's not quite done. So we're gonna put it in for about another 15 seconds or so. I know it's really tempting to lick the spoon. Don't lick the spoon yet. Not yet. You can when you're done, but not yet. And we're almost done. All right. So now that our marshmallows are all melted and ooey and gooey, now we get to add the popcorn. So remember, we're only going to put about half of this bowl of popcorn in here, okay? And make sure, like I said earlier, just make sure you're not going to put any big kernels in there. We don't want any of those nasty things in our popcorn balls. Make it hard and crunchy. We don't want that. So we're going to put about half this bowl. Okay, that should be about good now. More for him, I guess. Now we're gonna mix it all together, which, be careful, because it may get stuck to your spoon just a little bit. Now here's the tricky part, okay? Things start to get a little messy. So we're gonna make sure to spray our hands. That's why we made sure to take off any jewelry. Okay, so now that it's all mixed together, we're gonna start making our balls now. So we're just gonna get just a little bit at a time and start incorporating it. And since our hands have the nice spray on it, no mess. So we're just gonna make some quick little balls, and you're probably gonna also need a small tray so that we can set those popcorn balls on there. And if you want to make some larger, you can. If you want to make it smaller, you can do that too. But they're going to need to be about the size of your hand, okay? All right. So once that's all said and done, what we're going to do next is we are going to start putting our decorations for the sheep on. So we need 2 eyes, we need 2 ears, and we also need some legs. So we're just gonna quickly put 2 ears. Okay. And then you may want to use some of the marshmallow on the side, just as some glue to kind of keep everything together. Now with the legs, you're also going to want to break them in half first and then stick them in so that they stick. So just keep doing that until you've got about 4 legs in there. Hopefully your sheep don't run away. Oops. Okay. 1 more leg. And that's okay if all the legs aren't even. It's perfectly fine. We're all made differently. So if they're not equal, that is okay too. Okay. So the next and, well, the last thing almost that we need to do now is we're going to add some eyes. So again, you may just want to get a little bit of your marshmallow on your side of your bowl here. Add it to your gummy eyes, and we're going to stick them on. Okay, so now that we've got everything on, here is our end result. It is okay, perfectly fine if it looks just like mine or worse. Like I said, everybody's made a little different, so it's okay if it's got a little gimpy leg or something like that, so you're fine. This may be, in the end, what you kind of want it to be looking like. You can see it's got a nose, 2 eyes, ears, legs, the whole shebang. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me this week.
I hope these taste good.
Thanks, guys. Bye.